3 days before his death, I started to wean Mr. Jackson from propofol.
Did you do this with his knowledge or without his knowledge?
With his knowledge and information. I told him that I wanted him to assume a more natural pattern of sleep. I wanted him to be more physiological, like any of us. If you exercise, you perform, and you're tired, I wanted him to go to sleep naturally. I then asked him, if this is your pattern, what's going to happen when the shows are over? Are you going to continue like this? He said, no, I think I'll do fine. I think I'll be able to sleep without it. But that's what he's saying to me at that time. I said, well, I think we need to try lesser agents that is not as propofol to help you and try to see if we can wean it away. So I started 3 days before, which was 72 hours before, because I saw him every night. That's when I started to use more the lorazepam and the Versed.
Before that night,
yeah.
Had he used them before, or
yeah.
That's the first time that you introduced it to him?
No, I introduced it to him about 3 nights or so before. Now, what was the...
Well, I think the detective was asking, before those 3 nights, had he ever used Versed?
Yes, but not where that would be the sole agents.
Okay. So he'd use them in combination and lesser amounts.
Lesser amounts.
And you're trying to bring down the propofol and
get him off.
Right. And so you gave him
lorazepam and
lorazepam and the methylene, which is the Versed and the Ativan. Okay?
And he agreed for you to do this.
Reluctantly.
Okay.
Reluctantly, he fought me on it. He said, would it work the same way? Because and that was showing me some dependency here. Would I be able to sleep? I said, well, clearly it is not a strong agent. But if we could help you to sleep more naturally, and then eventually you can be on your own, milk and cookies and all the different things that is nice and comforting before you go to bed, that would be better for you, Michael. And he said, well, I really want to sleep. Are you sure it's going to make me sleep? I said, I cannot tell you with certainty that it will make you sleep, but I'd like us to try. I never identified him that I believed at that time he was showing dependence, or that he may have been drug seeking, because I was trying to form a different policy with him, so you can transfer confidence from that agent to something less. So I gave him the first up to third night. I gave him Versed, and I gave him Ativan, and I gave him a lower dose of the induction of the propofol milk and a slower drip rate. And except for some interruptions in sleep, I was able to get him to sleep for a reasonable time. But he wanted to go all the way again till about noon. Very long hours of sleep, which again was not ideal, but that's what he wanted. Because the other doctors working with him gave him 15 to 18 hours. So that was night 1. Reduced propofol, starting more lorazepam and Versed. On the second night, which was the night before he died, no milk was given. I thought we were really onto something then. He got the lorazepam and the Versed only. He seemed to have responded more physiological to that. He wasn't groggy when he woke up. If he got up in the middle of the night, he woke up very quickly. But he got some sleep. He only told me that he felt a little bit more of a hangover during the day. But I think that was subjective. I think that was his telling me, try it your way, but I really don't like it. I want Diprovan. So I said, but you slept pretty well last night, Michael. And this is day number 2. So let's continue to try the lorazepam and the Ativan. And I started off that night to do the lorazepam and the Ativan.
And that's
but
night
that
number
was
three.
the night.
That's night number 3?
Yeah. And that was and that's the night it wasn't possible. It wasn't working. So was he going through a withdrawal from that agent? Was it his mind that was forcing him to stay awake? He kept saying that, he was constantly producing, and he's a producer, and he's a writer, and he had to sleep. His show was going to fall apart, he needed to sleep. And that's why we got all the way into the next day, at daylight, when after trying all night for night 2 with those 2 agents, I then decided to go ahead and give him some of the medicine so he could get a couple of hours sleep so that he could produce, because I cared about him. I didn't want him to fail. I had no intentions of hurting him. And I was compassionate. But what I was doing to recognizing that Michael Jackson may have had a dependency to substance, I was trying to wean him off. But
And you were doing that successfully the 2 nights prior. Some little restlessness, like you mentioned, but
6, line 14. It's 3 minutes after 3. May I see counsel, please? Recess and adjournment at this time. Please be kind enough to give me your full undivided attention as I continue to deliver to you these admonishments. Do not discuss this case among yourselves or with anyone else, or form or express any opinions about the case until it is submitted finally to you. Do not visit any scene or location that may have been referenced or mentioned or involved in this case. Don't perform the experiments or conduct any independent research or investigation on your own or through another person on any topics, subjects, or persons mentioned or involved in the case. This means that you must not, on your own or through another person, access any internet websites, including but not limited to any search engine sites such as Google, Ask, or Bing, or social networking sites, including but not limited to MySpace or Facebook, or text or tweet, or receive any texts or tweets, or access any blogs or messages or post any messages on any site regarding any topics, subjects, or persons mentioned or involved in the case. Don't come into contact with any television or radio programs, newspaper or magazine articles or books regarding any of these topics or subjects or persons mentioned or involved in it. If anyone tries to contact you or otherwise tries to communicate with you about any aspects of this case, or attempts to provide you with contact information, including but not limited to any business card, so that at a later point in time you can contact or communicate any person or organization, immediately cease the conversation or contact, and immediately notify the court staff. Do not discuss any of these issues, if they become issues, with any other members of the jury. You should not have any contact or communication with the defendant, the attorneys, the witnesses, or spectators. If something is deserving of our attention, of course, bring it to the attention of the court staff and security, and make no mention of it to anyone else. Do all of you continue to assure me and promise me you will follow these admonitions? All indicate in the affirmative. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful weekend. Please do not come here on Monday. You will be very lonely. It is Columbus Day. It is a federal, state, and court holiday. And feel free to deal with whatever issues you have in your lives with friends and family or work. Do not come here on Monday. Please come here on Tuesday at the usual time when you meet. And we will start with the jury trial at 8:45 in the morning from your standpoint. And in the meantime, Have a wonderful weekend. It's going to be really hot, so stay cool. And we'll see you on Tuesday at 8:45. Good evening, good weekend. Bye.